you know.
You know what I think the problem is?
Oh shit! I want to hear what this problem is because that is an amazing way to start a conversation.
I want to rephrase that.
No, no, no. Let's stick with that one.
No.
Let's go. I won't give you shit about it at all, Barry.
Right. Uh, I think the missed opportunity is,
Mm,
let me ask you and see if you think this has anything to do with it.
okay.
I believe we forgot how to play and we don't play enough.
Oh, I love that.
You know what I mean?
I 100%. I've missed that.
Yeah.
I've missed the plane. You got anything?
Shit, I got everything. I just don't know where I put it.
Okay. Well, let's, I guess, get her started.
Yeah, you bet.
Welcome, my brothers and sisters, the two old goats. Let's get uncomfortable.
All right, let's do this thing.
Let's see how uncomfortable I can make you today, Richard.
Oh, no, why would you want to do that?
I don't know. Makes me laugh. Makes me feel giggly inside, like a little schoolgirl.
All right, great. I love it.
Yeah.
I just want you to be happy.
It's all it's about, man. It's all it's about.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Let's talk. What you get? I mean, do you have anything that you? What are you going through? Where are you at right now today in life?
Oh, just kind of some of the stuff we've been talking about, kind of what we were talking about this morning, and then I've been enjoying going through Sermon on the Mount with Chris, which we can barely get through one beatitude in 2 hours. So that's a lot of fun. It's it's fun when you see somebody's open their eyes real wide and go, now what?
Right.
So hopefully he's getting a lot out of it. I mean, it's all about the application. Learn whatever you want, but until you're ready to take action and apply it and be consistent about it, you're still in the same place. You haven't surrendered to it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If
Right.
you're gonna sit and just talk it all day long but never do it, it's all empty.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yesterday we were talking
empty.
about the blessed are those who mourn.
Oh, okay. I
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah. So it was good. It was a good, I don't know. I liken it kind of to what the way Jones's attitude is in his Just Jones when he meets the girl in the jail cell,
Yeah.
and he looks around at the jail cell and says, "Oh, this is a nice tool.
Yeah.
This is a nice place to start. Start
Absolutely.
something different. Do something different." So I think that's kind of where mourning falls in when it's interesting. He realized on his own that, and we should have him on to talk about it. But he realized on his own that the first part of his, I guess, 20s, early manhood or whatever, that he just didn't. He wasn't mourning because he didn't know how bad it was. Like we say, we don't know how sick we are. You don't know how
Right.
sick you were when you got here. You wouldn't have bothered to come. Well,
Yeah.
he finally realized. I didn't realize how I wasn't miserable or upset because I didn't know I should be or something. And so anyway, it was interesting. We got a lot out of it.
Well, yeah, and that's the majority of what's going on in the world today is we surround ourselves with like-minded people. And so if you surround yourself with people that are asleep and comfortable being, in this non-eventful life. It's how do you know any better? And then you get these people that come around and say, "Hey, there's so much more to life," you
Oh
know.
yeah. Well, and I
And
think it speaks to. I don't mean to cut you off, but it speaks too to the fact that we're not. There's no initiation going on in our culture anymore.
no,
You know. So
no
anyway, go ahead.
initiation, no invitations.
Nothing. Yeah.
Well, I think we've learned our lesson. The last time somebody truly tried to change the world, we crucified them.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
So nobody wants to step up,
So,
brother.
right. Well, that's kind of that lesson I was trying to teach Alice when she was teaching junior high. Well, I don't know what it was, English class or something over in Uvalde, and they're complaining about the kids. And I said, just shoot one of them little turds.
Right?
And all the teachers freaked out, like they were
Oh shit.
about ready to call the cops or whatever. And I said, you don't have to kill them, just shoot them in the leg.
Right.
All the rest of them little shits, they will straighten up in a heartbeat. They will say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir.
Absolutely.
They will get it together.
Yeah, I think
So,
there's a South Park episode where the teacher comes up and goes, "This is how we deal with ADHD kids."
uh-huh.
And they had like four of them lined up, and they're all like climbing the walls and stuff. And he goes, "And this is our program." And so he slowly comes up to the first one and says, "I'm sorry, can you please sit down?" The kid's like, "Rah!" And he just smacks the shit out of him.
There you go.
By the time he gets to the fourth one, the kid's sitting there writing his homework up, doing
Right.
all well. And I was like,
Yeah.
now that's the way it needs to be.
Well, that's the medicine we had when I was in school.
I hear you. Mr. Slate, he got me good many, many times because I wouldn't
Uh,
sit down and shut up.
that's it. That's it.
But that ended
So,
up being one of my favorite classes. Was the one that it's dude. I'm trying to teach you something here, so shut up.
right. Well, you were excited. It's fun. Learning is fun.
I think so.
Yeah.
As long as it's learning about cool stuff. I don't want
Right.
to learn about adjectives and pronouns.
No, you
And
can
I
do
don't mean
that.
pronouns in the modern sense either.
Right. Now, we used to
Talking
do that on Saturday morning cartoons. We had
what's that?
Conjunction Junction and all that.
I had He-Man and G.I. Joe, brother. I had He-Man and G.I. Joe.
All
But
right.
knowing's half the battle. Go Joe.
There you go. Good stuff.
Well, we could talk a little bit about, we've already talked offline a little bit about the isolation and the darkness. And you and I, we talked about the depression. And I think that's where I might be getting it mixed up. Or I don't know if it's me or if maybe we as in society are getting definitions mixed up on depression. And what I mean by that is there I go through spouts once in a while or bouts, whatever they're called, where I feel disconnected. I feel completely alone at times, and for me, I feel like that is a depression, right? And I think the key is to recognize that could be an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to shut up for a little bit and truly listen to where can I grow from this? What is the universe trying to teach me or tell me that I need to do? A good parable that we were talking about is, imagine like a seed on a plant. Okay, it's ready to burst from the fruit or burst from the tree, and for a while it's out there in the sunlight. It's around the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the sunshine, and everything's wonderful for that seed, and it drops when it's time, right? And it gets pushed down into the soil, completely isolated and in the dark. And in that moment, the seed feels nobody loves me anymore. No one wants to be around me anymore. I'm all alone. Look at me, right? And so it feels depressed. But the truth is the universe has a bigger plan for it, and it's giving it different kinds of nutrients and different kinds of things that it needs to create something different. And poof, here it comes from the darkness. As now I'm no longer a seed. Now I'm a sapling. And it just keeps growing from there to produce its own seeds. And so I'm trying to look at depression in a little different way now. That instead of going, oh, woe is me, look at, oh, wow, here's another opportunity. And take that moment and go into the wilderness and be quiet and be still. There's something about to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you thought? What are your thoughts on that? That's what I got. I got it all written down right here. I've been thinking about it all day.
Okay. Well, aside from the whether seeds have feelings or not,
You're the seed, man. You're the seed, brother. Dang it.
I know what you mean. No, it sounds a little bit about like I think the old mythical thing is the phoenix that
Okay.
rises again, so to speak.
Right, from the ashes.
Right. But I think in a lot of ways it's maybe lack of direction, or the more I've thought about it recently, the more I think it's be it too much in the future or too much in the not right here, right now. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I
Yeah.
think that's a big part of it.
Well, absolutely. We're so hung up on the outcomes that we're not taking the moment to realize that we're being fertilized to become something different.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be very painful too, because a lot of our ways of doing things, a lot of the ways we think are being manipulated and transformed in our head and in our soul. And it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wait, what? How can this be the truth when this has been my truth for so long?
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, like with my drinking, how can drinking be my problem when it was my solution for so long? And that darkness, that moment that I had was transformative to the point where I was fed something completely different. The air was different, the water was different, the nutrients was different. Everything that I thought was up was down, everything that I thought was back was forward. Nothing made sense. But then out of that I blossomed into something different with the skills of having an open mind and a willing heart and just the desire to seek now. Instead of where I was before, my desire was to take. Now I want to seek and give. And it's just completely flipped upside down. Now, if you would have asked me this 11 years ago, I would have told you that was the darkest. I wanted to die. I was completely isolated. Had I known that this was just the opportunity for me to become something different, I wouldn't have believed you. It would have made no sense.
Right. Well, we've talked a couple of times. It's a lot of, whenever possible, I like to take the attitude that it's not, when things aren't working my way, it's not God saying no. It's maybe God's inviting you to do something else,
Oh,
or
absolutely.
to do something different. And I think a lot of it ties into is what we were talking about yesterday. What is mourning? Mourning means I'm in pain of some sort, and it means I need to do something different. Like I said, it's a good starting point. We're getting enough pain to cause the change, to cause us to get off the nail. Right? Why won't we get
Right.
off the nail? Because it doesn't hurt enough yet. That's kind of the aspect of mourning. But then the next thing that I'm taking it to is relating it to psychic change. I mean, you can have a psychic change enough because a big part of the mourning and the everything else is the way we think and not thinking correctly. So, but expanding the psychic change, not just having a psychic change and saying, "Oh, okay, I'm good now." Well, you can be good for a minute, but then there's still more to learn. Now that you've learned this, it opens you up to learn more. So you, like we always say, you have to continue having psychic changes.
Right.
You can't just stop here at page 164. That's not the plan.
Right.
The plan is this is just the beginning. This is what it kind of looks like. Now you got to go out in life and practice it and see what it looks like in real life, in the big picture. That was one of the things that keeps coming up as I go through this. Is I go, oh yeah, that's right there in the big book. It says right here, this one part we're talking about talks about we don't really turn to God, and this is one of the purposes of mourning and the purposes of pain is we don't really turn to God until we've exhausted all the other options. We tried to do it on ourselves, accomplish it ourselves. We tried to solve it over and over. We tried pills, potions, and lotions and doctors and blah, blah, blah. That's exactly what it says right here in the book. And I said, oh, so what you're saying is we were placed beyond human aid. And then we turned to God, which is exactly what the big book says.
Right.
It says if you lost control and choice, you may be placed beyond human aid, which
Right.
means you may need a spiritual solution.
Yep.
So anyway, that was kind of tied into the mourning that we were talking about yesterday. But there's so many levels, and as I was talking about it with him, I mean he's doing great. I mean he's understanding a lot and he's catching a lot. But I'm also seeing that he's new at this. He's been doing this a little over a year.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to be. He's having a totally what do you say? He's having a totally different meeting than I'm having.
Oh, exactly.
You know what I mean? He's like, okay, I get it. Morning, okay, it hurts. Okay, I need to do something different. I get it. Okay, I got
Yeah.
it. No, man, come on, we got to grow. Let's blow this thing up.
Yeah. Mourning, I think, is definitely multifaceted. Um, you know, you can, I think mourning affects all three sides of the triangle. It's not just the physical connection mourning, meaning like you're losing a loved one, a job, something physical, something tangible. But I think that's where the psychic change comes into. It's losing your old way of thinking, your old way of doing, and most importantly, the old way of feeling.
Right.
And I believe there's a proper way of mourning. In fact, I think the old carpenter said about it that you have about 24 hours to mourn, and then it's time to dust off and get going,
Yeah.
wash your face, and get moving. So I don't know if that's true to all extents of mourning. I just remember reading that part of it. And then if in Taoism, it's a by the morning. That's why they call it mourning. Is you're supposed to have that time, and then when the sun comes up, it's over with. Now it's time to move on. Pick yourself up and move. So multiple different religious and or spiritual ways of doing things do give you certain amounts of time to do your mourning, and then it's time to get up and go. I think in today's society, a lot of people take advantage of that and actually use it for as a crutch for the rest of their life, whatever they're mourning. This is the day that my grandpappy died 37 years ago, and this is the whole week's going to be bad.
It always is. I
Yeah.
wonder why.
Right. So I know we've chatted about this before, but I think the biggest thing with the mourning is I think it's an opportunity to rise above and grow and learn from something. It's a shame to see loved ones or situations pass away or go into another realm. And instead of celebrating that and respecting that and transforming, utilizing the message that was given to you, we don't transform. We just celebrate their death or what the death was. And
Hmm.
it's kind of disrespectful, I feel, to not just the people, but to the situations or the conversations or whatever the situation is, to not move forward and show your growth because of that. It totally depletes the symbolism of the mourning.
Well, it makes it useless if you don't move forward
Yeah,
and do the continue with the work. So
right. It,
yeah,
yeah, it's like a monkey fucking a football.
yeah,
It makes no sense. You're going to keep doing that over and over.
right. Well,
So
you never know. I guess I don't know.
you never seen a monkey?
Oh, I've seen a monkey. I've heard that expression. That's if you've done any manual labor with on any crews or anything, you're going to hear that. It's like a monkey
Absolutely.
trying to do a
Well, that,
football.
I think that's the same thing with people that don't take advantage of that mourning. And I'm one of them.
Hmm.
Like I was just talking to you about, I'm feeling like I'm having a bout of depression, and I in my head I was like, "Fuck Richard," talking about depression,
Hmm.
and I had to keep thinking about, no, there's got to be something different about this. It's not that clinical depression that we're discussing, where because of the sickness and the health and all the plastics and the oils and all that stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an emotional, a spiritual depression that I'm misreading. I'm reading it as, oh, woe is me. My life's not on track. Where I lost my sense of purpose. I'm becoming submissive to my desires or whatever the situation may be. I'm not realizing that this is the opportunity for growth, that this is going to be a new chapter in my life, and I need to rise above and grab a hold of it and smile and go, oh shit, here comes something new.
Hmm.
And I almost feel redundant about it because I know this isn't the first time that I've felt this darkness, this press down on me.
Right. Yeah, that's I've been feeling that for a while,
Yeah,
and the weird part is, I mean, I'm having people tell me the same thing,
yeah,
but and without me bringing it up. So it's not like I'm going around spreading it, but
right.
at least not consciously. So who knows? I don't know. But
Yeah, no, absolutely.
so
Absolutely. I
yeah,
think for guys, uh, I can't speak for women. I'm not a woman, so I don't know about depression for a woman, but I know for most men that I've seen, a lot of it is something's happened in their life, some movement has happened, whatever it is,
or
and
hasn't
and
happened,
huh,
or hasn't happened.
whatever it is, it's
Right.
it's where we feel a sense of loss, a sense of I don't know which direction, and I'm shaking a little bit and I don't know which way to go. And we become stagnant. We become, just, I think we put ourselves in that prison, like you were talking about earlier. And the door stays open the whole time, but we're still confused on which way to go and what are we doing here and feeling lost. And, I think that's where, books like the one we're reading with Jocko, about freedom, discipline equals freedom. I'm missing the moment. I'm missing the opportunity to rise above to like one of my favorite sayings that I hate, that I love. I hate to love it, is about um oh man, I just went totally blank. But the whole concept is not distractions, are rulers of the weak. Circumstances are rulers of the weak,
Okay.
and they're tools of the great ones. They're tools of the champions. And I am that. I become weak, and I allow circumstances to rule my emotions. I allow it to rule over my spirituality. I allow it to rule over my physical being. And in those senses, I'm very vulnerable and weak at those times. But I need to stop looking at it as that as a negative. I need to look at it as a true positive opportunity. That this is why you feel in the dark and everything. That you're about to rise.
Hopefully. Well, it's anytime before we make progress or a big step. I think he talks about, I can't think of the guy's name, but he talks about it in the War of Art, that before you make a big progress or a big step in progress, there's going to be a lot of resistance right at the end.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think a lot of it is our self-conscious or subconscious. A lot of it is not wanting to change. It's a lot. I kind of liken it to when you're doing archery or you're shooting. What you're really hoping for is a surprise release.
Okay.
Or if you're, uh, shooting a rifle or something like that, the more surprise, they say go real slow because you don't want to know when that's going to go off
Yeah.
because your body tenses and that's what makes you miss.
Right.
So I kind of liken it to that.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I totally agree.
yeah.
But we have to. I think that's where we miss it, though. We miss the opportunities because we get so indulged with the depressed part, or the darkness part, or the disconnect part, that we don't purposely look for the opportunity. And if you think about all the great stories, all these great influencers in the world from past to present, they have all had that depressed, dark, disconnected moment. And then out of that dark, depressed, disconnected moment, greatness happens.
Right.
Like you talk, I was listening to a podcast of it was a female uh, long distance, like an ultra runner. And she was talking about how up to a certain point, there's so much pain and agony and defeat. But when she gets to that wall of, I can't go another one, I can't do another this or whatever, right? It puts her into this realm that if she just takes one more step, it catapults her into another mindset, like a whole nother body, a whole nother reason, a whole nother vision. Everything just catapults into it. But you have to take that initial step, right? And that's where a lot of people get cut off, is they stop at that moment when they're supposed to walk through it, and they stay there. Many people in this world never go past that moment. They live as a victim. They live in depression. They live in this darkness. They live in this blindness world of, there's nothing left. It's all over with. What's the purpose, right? What's the purpose of trying to be friends? What's the purpose of going out and meeting new people? What's the purpose of trying a new job? What's the purpose of whatever? Because they've never crossed that barrier, that line into greatness. And I think we're all capable of it.
Oh, I believe so. And in different areas, whatever area you're focusing on or whatever area
Well, I'm
you're
not
striving
saying
to
that you
get
cross
better
the
in.
barrier and all of a sudden you're 7'11" and you can slam basketballs. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we're all capable of crossing that darkness. We're all capable of crossing the disconnected feeling. We're all capable of doing that.
Right.
You know.
You know what I think the problem is?
Oh shit! I want to hear what this problem is, because that is an amazing way to start a conversation.
I want to rephrase that.
No, no, no. Let's stick with that one.
No.
Let's go. I won't give you shit about it at all, Barry.
Right. Uh, I think the missed opportunity is,
Mm,
let me ask you and see if you think this has anything to do with it.
okay.
I believe we forgot how to play and we don't play enough.
Oh, I love that.
You know what I mean?
I 100%. I've missed that.
Yeah.
I've missed the playing. You know that's one thing that you and I used to do so much. We used to have so much fun
We
in our
still do.
misery.
Right.
We were in so much pain and misery, but man, we were laughing and whistling the whole fucking way.
Right.
We're missing that. I totally agree with you. We're missing out on playing around, man.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
It's about play, and I'm wondering if that's the big challenge. Is as I got to thinking about it because probably told you we had a new family move in across the street from us
Okay.
over here, and it's a pretty big family. It kind of looks like a mixed family, whatever. It doesn't matter. But they got 4 or 5 kids, and their kids play outside
There you go.
on a regular basis.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm sitting in the front yard just going, "This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is so cool." And then their little friends are coming around. So now we got this little neighborhood kids playing outside right here and basically in my front yard in our area right here.
Yeah.
And I'm watching these kids and I'm going, that's everybody's. If you didn't know, when you could drive up and down this neighborhood for a year, once a day or twice a day for a year, and you would think maybe a half a dozen kids live in this neighborhood. There's
Yeah.
almost a kid in every single house.
Oh,
But
wow.
you wouldn't know it because they never come outside
Right.
and they never play. And I think that's, we're talking about all this, Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s up there trying to solve all the autism and all this other health problems we have. Man, if those kids were outside playing, they wouldn't have time to be sick. They wouldn't want to be sick.
Right.
I remember when I was in school, all of school, a lot of people like to skip school and all that. I hated it. I mean, I wanted to go to school because sitting home was so freaking boring. We walked to school and we walked home and we played the whole damn way.
Yeah.
And we played the whole way back and we played. I mean, it was just.
Yeah.
I think that's real important. That it's something that we did and do in the past that we get so much from, aside from physical, but it's also mental, and you have the social, and
Yes.
so
Absolutely. So then why do we stop doing it as adults?
that's the question. But what made me think about it was, well, for one, I've been watching them across the street, but I was at we had my uncle's funeral yesterday, my Uncle Pat. And, I was thinking a lot about, we were pretty close for a long time, but here towards the end we were. And I tried to go see him last year and planned it and everything. And then he canceled on us. And probably because he just wasn't feeling it or feeling good. But I was thinking about him, and you know what? He played a lot in his life, and he was happy
Right.
a lot, and there was a lot of it was kind of a weird day because it was in down San Leon on the coast, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, he was born in Baytown, which is, you could see it across the bay pretty much from where we were. And then he grew up in that area, and he always lived over in that area, and he loved fishing and all that stuff. But he was a partier and a player, and he was always in the water and all that. But he just loved to play, and that's what the people that talked. It was really cool, and my thoughts about him was even when I was a little kid, he came and lived with us for a while, and but he would play. We were playing out. We all played outside. He
Yeah.
busted my head open 3 times. Had to
Nice.
go get stitches in the same spot twice and in a different spot another time. But I still got a bald spot, that one spot that got it twice. And he did all kind of other shit and that hurt or whatever. But the thing is, he was playing with us
Right.
and that attention. And he was only 10 years older than me too. So that was early on. That was a big difference.
Yeah.
Just kind of thinking back at all that and was a life. Yeah, I'm sitting there. They kept playing, adding songs and songs. I guess they wanted it to keep going. But how do you measure a life, the success of a life? And I think God wants us to be happy and be productive and all that stuff. So I'd say that was successful.
Well, you remember we talked about it earlier about the true measure of success in life.
Mm-hmm.
It's how often you're in the nude.
Yeah. Oh, well,
How
he was
often
a
do you
lot.
get naked?
He was a lot. He always had he liked the water. So even wherever he lived, he would put up in one of those damn ugly ass above ground pools.
Right.
But that was his thing. He would get
Yeah.
in that pool. He didn't care.
Yeah.
One time I showed up at his house and he knew I was coming, but it was after lunch. It was on the weekend or something. And I get out there and he's basically, I don't know if he was passed out or napping, whichever one he was, but the pump in the pool circulates the water. Well, he was
Right.
just on the float going around the pool.
Nice.
So that was his whole deal.
It's awesome.
So he, hang on, where am I? He, he played,
Okay.
and there's a lot of success in that. I think there's a lot of lessons in that. It's a lot more important than we think, and we don't do it enough.
I agree.
We're
I
so
think
worried
that's
about chasing that dollar and forgetting who the source is or where the source is.
right.
Thinking we're the source, then
Yeah.
we quit freaking playing.
Well, I think you could transform that even into, living a healthier life, instead of going, oh, damn it, I got to go exercise this morning. No, dude, I get to go walk out there and watch the sunrise.
Right.
I get to get out there and, I was thinking about this on my way home tonight from work is, a lot of people, when they call me, they talk to me and they're like, talk to me, tell me something new, Tom. They like to hear my stories. And there's for me, if I don't have anything, that means I'm not living right. I need to have stories, man, and every day is an opportunity for an opportunity for a story, for an experience, for an adventure. I was talking to Bill this weekend, and he goes, Tom, I don't understand it. You said every time that there's a moment where I'm frustrated, something keeps happening over and over, I'm stuck somewhere. That's an opportunity for me to look around and see. And you're going to see miracles. You're going to see phenomenons. You're going to see boobies. You're going to see things. And he goes, to this day, I haven't seen anything. I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, it's there. And he says, no, I just think that you're gifted in that way. I said, I'm not gifted in eyesight. I'm still wearing glasses. I'm not gifted. I just happen to be there. I put myself in those opportunities more often. I go play more often. And I think that's where life happens, I think. And when I'm not doing that, I I go the other direction. It's dying and not in the good sense. Um,
Well, you're
so
open to it.
I'm so glad you brought that up, playing, because I think that's one part of my life that I'm forgetting about.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, man? There's so much out there to have fun and just laugh and joke and smile and breathe. There's so much good stuff out there, man.
Right. Right.
Stuff we take for granted. Like today, I don't know if you noticed this, but and we'll let the people know. You and I were on our phones, and you and I were talking, and in the background, I had a bird talking to your bird.
Right.
You're in Houston, and I'm in Austin,
Right.
and we had two birds talking to each other loud. They were over talking us because I couldn't
They
hear
were.
you
They
because your
were.
damn bird was talking too loud.
Right. They got at it. And then the one bird, what drew my attention to it was the bird on this end swooped right by me.
Okay.
He was up on the wire and he came down and came right by me. He's like he was coming toward me. He went right by me and then flew
Yeah.
back up on the wire. And then I looked and I heard your bird tweeting and I said, "We got birds talking."
Right. And the interesting thing is I wasn't stagnant. I was walking that whole time. I was doing a little mile loop around my office. That bird followed me the whole way.
Yeah. Wow.
That wasn't different birds.
Yeah. Yeah. They were
So I
talking
don't
to
know.
each
I
other.
mean,
That's weird.
coincidence? I don't know. They were singing the same damn song, dude. What's the chances of Austin, Houston, two birds singing the same song, the same time on the same phones? You
Right.
know,
And they sound like the same kind of bird.
that's why I was like, am I hearing my bird like in stereo? What is going? Am I hearing like a reverberation?
Right.
And then that's when you said, no, I got a bird too.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting.
Now the next question is: were they talking trash to each other, or were they flirting with each other?
They're probably it's from Houston and Austin. You know they're talking shit.
They're talking shit.
Oh yeah, you know they are.
Oh,
The Houston guys like, y'all keeping it weird still?
yeah, y'all weird over there.
And Austin's like, that's all we have is weird.
Yeah,
We don't
over
know any
here.
different.
East California.
So, but that's what I'm talking about. We were out there in the sunshine, talking. Nature's all around us. That's playing, man. That's living right there. You know, and to notice those things, birds singing, wind blowing. You know, one of the coolest things that I recognize when I'm out in nature, the smells of all the flowers and the trees and grass, everything. It's amazing. I get so excited smelling these just little pops of whatever it may be, you know? And then I go to college town and all I smell is weed everywhere. So
No, there's just a lot of skunks in that area.
yeah, I have not seen one skunk yet in my neighborhood.
No,
It smells
no polecats, but it smells like a bunch of polecats, doesn't it?
oh, it's polecat heaven. I just haven't seen one yet.
Right. All right. Well, cool.
So-
I'm glad it's alive and well in that college town there.
Oh yeah, they're all focusing.
Right. Well, from what I've seen, it's safer than drinking. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Who knows? I'm not a
Yeah.
pro.
I have no statement on it.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, man. It's none of my concern.
Right. I'm with you. 100%.
None of my concern. But are you enjoying life? That's my question.
That's right. Get out
Are
there
you
and
experiencing some things, having an adventure? I think we need to go out and have an adventure, Barry. We need to go camping or hiking or something. We need to get out there.
Well, it's coming up. I mean, August is right around the corner for you. So,
We can go before that. Hell, if you're up for it, I got time this weekend. We can go out, go do some hiking or even go camping.
I wish I could. I'm going to be building fences this weekend.
Building fences.
Yeah. Taylor's fence from the storms last year.
Yeah.
We're putting up two sides. The neighbor put up the back. And then me and my neighbor's going to do our fence over here.
Oh, okay.
So I just have one side over here that needs to be done. That, man, it's been there over 20 years, that one side. All the other sides I've replaced 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Are you just putting up new pickets?
No, we're doing the whole thing.
You're digging holes and putting concrete?
Yeah. It's
Shit.
not a big deal. It's easy. Easy breezy. All these posts over here, they're rotted kind of at the bottom. That fence.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We got our money's worth. The dang fence was doing this when it
Yeah.
was blowing windy and stuff. Anyway, me and Grant went over there and had some 2x4s and we got it solid. Then after that, my neighbor comes and goes, "You ready to replace that thing?" And I said, "I was waiting on you to ask."
There you go.
So
All right.
anyway,
Well, I'm available this weekend. You need something.
okay, all right. I may let you know. A freaking Michael uh, ended up in the ER last night.
Oh no.
Yeah, he this weekend, I guess Sunday, he decided he was going to get a head start on that fence. It still had a couple little sections up, and he took and moved a couple of whole sections. He unhooked it from the post, and then how you leave it all
Right.
together. Apparently, he moved them and kind of overdid it. Came home early from work yesterday because his back was hurting, and he had totally locked up last night. And they
Oh.
managed to get him in the car and to the ER, and they gave him several shots and stuff, and some muscle relaxers, and anyway, so he's better
Okay.
today,
All right.
but we'll see.
All right.
We'll get it done.
Well, like I said, I got my own tools and shit. Whatever you need,
Yeah.
man.
All right. Yeah.
Amy's going on a trip to wine country. Her and her girlfriends are doing this wine trip where they got a shuttle or a limo or something. They take them to winery to do all these tastes, and then
Great.
stop off and have lunch, and then they take them back to the Airbnb or wherever they're at. So her
Okay.
and like 3 or 4 girlfriends are doing that this weekend.
Well, that's kind of out by where you are now. Not too far from there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or
I,
is she
I
going
think it's.
closer to Fredericksburg?
I think it's close. She says it's about a 4 hour drive from Houston. So
Yeah,
wherever
that
that
sounds
is.
like Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
4.5, 5 hours.
So I'm available.
Okay. Cool. We'll
I put up a few fences in my day.
yeah. We'll probably put you to work.
All right.
But anyway,
Cool,
that's
cool.
that's what's going on around here. Other than that, I'd love to get out there. I need to
Okay.
get. I'm going to camp next month, at least 2 times that I know of.
Real
So
campingberry or
yeah,
glamping?
no, for real, for real. My cousin's, my nephew's graduating
Yeah.
from college, so we're gonna camp out up in Austin and have a party for his graduation,
Okay.
May the 9th. And then my other, what is he called? The guy that's married to my niece. What do you call that? Is that a nephew?
He would be a nephew-in-law.
Nephew-in-law, whatever.
Yeah.
He's graduating from he's gonna be a game warden
Okay.
at the end of the month. So he's coming and we're having a party and camping out and stuff.
Okay.
So anyway, big month. It'll be cool.
Nice.
My sister's birthday's in the middle of that somewhere, but
Okay.
uh, that's all I know, man.
All right.
Just getting after it.
Cool, man. I feel pretty good, man. I think talking about the depression, the darkness, the isolation, and the solution is to break through that and play.
Yeah.
Play, man.
Go
Have a
do something that's
fucking
fun. Do it for the fun of it. Don't do
yeah,
it because I gotta gain muscle and lose fat, or just go
yeah.
play.
Go play. That's what it's about.
Yeah,
Transform. See things differently.
yeah.
You don't have to do anything. You get to do them.
I just thought of it too in the Born to Run.
Yes.
The guy, I want to say his name was Phil something, but anyway, he was a real dedicated coach or something like that. But
Yeah.
anyway, he wanted to. He like went and camped out along the road to see the runners come through because he wanted to see these Tarahumara runners and
Yeah.
see what the deal was. And I think it was like on the second day, so it was halfway through the race or something. Anyway, and that's what hit him. He goes, everybody else out here's running and trying real hard. These guys are playing.
Yeah.
They're running, playing grab ass.
Yeah.
They're just
having a good
laughing,
time.
having a good time, cutting up. And everybody else is out there all super serious, and they're just jacking around. This is what we do for fun.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's, probably why they were such good long distance runners.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was reading that again last week, and then somehow I got put on this new book called The Last American Man about Eustace Conway. He was born like in 1961. I think he's still alive, but
Yeah,
he's
that's
like
my
the
age. I'm 62.
okay, well, yeah,
19s. Yeah, that's not old, dude. He's a youngster.
yeah. But he's a true he still lives in a teepee
Okay.
and he
In
rides
East Houston.
horses.
Over in East Houston. I think I know where he lives.
No, no. He lives in North Carolina.
Okay.
But yeah, he's one of those guys. We've had those dreams about getting land and getting kids out there and teaching them primitive ways of life and spirituality and things. Well, he does that, and he's been doing that since like the 80s. I think, and an interesting thing is in the book it talks about how his mother, his dad or her dad, is the founder of the Boy Scouts, the original Boy Scouts, the real Boy Scouts.
Wow. Yeah, wow.
And so he was a man of destiny to do something similar to that. And he did, and he still does, that I'm aware of now. Haven't finished the book yet. I'm in like chapter 7 or 8, but he's made world records, like rode a horse from New York to California, rode a carriage from Nebraska up to Canada and back, and did it like in 56 days or something like that, did 2,500 miles. So it's pretty impressive. He's not a nice person. He's really an asshole. Fixated on perfection and always, going above and beyond on everything. There's no half-assing for him. But it is an interesting book that there are people out there that still live off of nature and very, very simple life.
It can be done.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it. They've been doing it for thousands and thousands of years.
Right.
Millions of years.
The way we're doing it now is new, actually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we
consider time.
Changing it all up.
Running water is, whew.
Yeah.
It's
running
crazy.
Water, air conditioning.
Right. That's
windows,
crazy stuff.
Doorknobs. Those are all new things, man.
All new stuff.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah. See what we can do now.
All right. Good stuff.
That's all I got, brother.
Okay. Me too. I don't know. Sorry, I don't have a whole lot else to offer. I have been getting a lot out of the Beatitudes, and it's cool. I'm enjoying reading it with Chris, but it's amazing to me how much it's blowing up just to me.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying, we're having different meetings, is what I was saying.
Absolutely. Well, you haven't got to my favorite one, which is "Blessed are the meek."
That's the next one.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
I love it.
That's my favorite. So, anyway, but okay, Bob, we'll get back to it, and I'll try to get these out here pretty soon, and hopefully get caught up.
All right, brother. Sounds good.
So,
all right, y'all. Peace out.
Get out and get in the sun. Peace out.
That's right. Don't wear sunscreen or sunglasses.
No, that shit's bad for you.
Let the rays get in you. Feel it.
They actually penetrate further than you think.
That's right.